Like most stories, this starts off with a tip-off. A viewer of mine sent me an email about an army of bots that ends. They wield Torags and are extremely slow at logging out or teleporting. I read the tip a couple times and contemplated whether or not to do anything about it. I've killed Entbots so many times before and they just keep coming back. But at that point, I didn't realize this time would be different. I was about to make a lot of gold. It was pretty easy to find the bots. There's one every 4 or 5 worlds. They do teleport away, but it takes a few ticks for them to do so, and just from the stats of the first account, it looks like it's probably hacked. Pretty quickly, I found another bot and killed it, and I was not expecting this, but the bot dropped a dragon axe. I thought potentially it was just a one-off mistake and the bot had brought extra items. Also again, I think this was another hacked account. It had 100 cooking. The total loot was 130k, which isn't bad. But then I kill a second bot and it also drops a dragon axe. Once again, about another 130k. But when I killed the third bot, that's when I realized the potential here. You see, the third bot was risking almost 300k alone, 186 magic logs, which meant when the botter was writing the script, they either didn't set a threshold of loot for the bots to bank, or it's set relatively high. And at this point, I really wanted to see how much GP I could possibly make doing this.
Wait, don't kill me.
What? Why?
I know your IP address, it's 52.
ExpressVPN. You don't need it, until you do.
Haha.
Let's briefly walk through how ExpressVPN works. As you can see, ExpressVPN owns hundreds of servers in dozens of countries across the world, which you can connect to, and once you're connected to that server, your IP is masked. Unfortunately, Runescape does have a shadier side, and some players, especially in PvP situations, use software to grab your IP address and kick you off of the server to take your items. Masking your IP address can help prevent repeated attacks, but there are a lot of other benefits from connecting to an ExpressVPN server. When you connect to an ExpressVPN server, your data is actually encrypted. That means anyone trying to see your internet traffic will be met with meaningless data. So find out how you can get 3 months of ExpressVPN for free by visiting expressvpn.com/sirpugger or clicking the link in the description. Thanks to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video. Now back to this Ent bot farm. I was absolutely printing gold by killing them. In just a few minutes, my inventory was full after killing 8 and I had 1.34 million GP from it. I continued through the world list, clearing out worlds, and in the next inventory, some of them were dropping 200 to 300 magic logs each kill. During my second trip, I even stuffed my inventory full of dragon axes and dragonstone jewelry. That second trip consisted of 2.8 million GP in my looting bag, with almost 2,000 magic logs, and another 500k in my inventory. The profit really depended on how long the bots had been at the end. It's clear they didn't bank their magic logs that often. By my count, there were at least 35 of these bots, which meant by the time you've killed all of them, the first ones you killed probably had a decent amount of magic logs to go back and take again. I ended up doing 2 one-hour sessions in the same day killing these bots. I killed a total of 67 of them and got almost 12 million GP from it, 6,600 magic logs. Jagex said they found a total of 37 of them, removed 180 mil from the game, and that the bots trade between 300k and 5 mil to the Mule account, which receives 60 to 180 million GP a day. That's such a large range, Jagex says, because it depends on how lucky the bots are with PKers, because they do die quite often, so I wasn't the only one killing them. What I'm about to show you is one of the best moneymakers in-game I know of right now. And it started off when I saw this account at the Grand Exchange, IronSkirt337. The account looks like a bot, has a bot username. Also, if you check its stats, it has one in almost everything except base 70 melee stats. But the thing that really caught my eye was the bracelet of Ethereum. So I figured there's probably a new bot farm at Revenant's, but I was going to bed, so I figured I'd check the next day. Before I checked it out the next day, I got a tip off from a guy named Got Merked. Huge shout out to him. He told me he found a bot farm at Revenant's using an Abyssal Whip and Obby Shield. Not only that, but there's a way to kill them for about 150k per minute, which is 9 million GP per hour. His discovery was the bot's use of a third entrance to the Revenant Caves. If you didn't know, in late 2020, the Revenant Caves got an overhaul and a third one-way entrance was added to the Revenant Caves. Merked didn't know about it before he found these bots, and I didn't even know about it until Merked told me. Since it's a one-way entrance, if you're running through the Revenant Caves, there's no clear indication that there is an entrance there. It'll make sense why this is so important if we talk about the bot's mechanics. It's actually hard to efficiently kill Revenant Revenant bots. They teleport instantaneously when they see a skulled player near them, so it's easy to kill them, but every time you do, you have to go through a process of losing your skull by dying, which takes at least a minute or two. But it turns out multiple bot farms at Revenants use this entrance. And if you're waiting for them at the bottom of the entrance, they can't teleport away from you. In fact, I don't know what it is in their script, but they don't teleport immediately from you if you're standing at that entrance skulled. And as you probably know, every account in the Revenant caves is risking 100k cash that's taken out from their bank account when they enter the Revenant caves for the first time or after dying. So it doesn't matter that they don't have any Revenant loot on them, they're automatically risking their bracelet of Ethereum and 100k cash. Not only that, but none of these bots hop worlds. That's also key. And Gottmerked actually timed out how long it takes for the bots to re-gear and get back to the entrance of Revenants. 3 minutes and 14 seconds. So let's say you know of 3 worlds that includes a bot that uses this entrance. You're skulled, and one by one you hop through the worlds and make the bots teleport out. You then run to this third entrance and wait in the world you first made the bot teleport out from for the bot to come back. You kill it, grab the loot, and then immediately hop to the next world where you made the second bot teleport out. If you time it right, that bot should be just appearing at the entrance, you kill it, and then hop to the third world and kill the third bot. By the time you're done killing the third bot, you hop back to the first world, and that first bot will be coming back pretty quickly. Every single kill you get about 140k. Eventually I did figure out if you come to the Pyre Fiends from the south, you do have like a 50-50 chance of TBing these bots. So if you don't want to worry about the headache of all this timing, you can just hop through worlds. It's almost as good GP. In this single inventory, I clocked in at a little bit over 14 minutes and made 1.8 million GP. I actually set a goal and killed over 100 of these accounts. And the best part is you're literally draining the bot's bank account since the GP gets withdrawn over and over and over again every time they enter the cave and you kill them. If you're lucky, there are also ranged bots down at the demons to the southeast of the cave entrance, and they use that same entrance. So sometimes you don't even need to be hopping through worlds and you could get 2 to 3 bots coming back repeatedly with you just standing there killing them and taking their loot. If you're wondering, there are at least 50 to 60 of these bots, but you really only need to find them in 3 or 4 worlds to optimize your GP per hour. I did do it very casually though, so it took me over 3 hours, but the final price check was 16 million GP. Happy hunting, but I'm guessing they will be banned pretty quickly. Actually, this is a great segue. I had just teleported out from a PKer on one of these rev bot trips, and I noticed what looked like a bot with an earth staff and a glory, and then I noticed another one also in Edgeville. I hadn't seen any bots with earth staffs before, and I was kind of curious what they were doing, so I followed one. Whenever I find a new bot farm in the wilderness, I do my best to try to PK them to see if they're risking anything good. This bot farm was clearly making earth orbs, and I just so happened to have a low level that could attack them. But it posed a challenge. After 2 to 3 hits, the bots teleport out. So my first solution was to buy poison knives to see if I could poison them, and then eventually they would die from the poison. By the way, there are multiple of these bots in most worlds, but even as I watched 2 of them run back, I saw one of them consume something. And after trying to poison them multiple times, I realized because there are spiders nearby, these bots were programmed when they're poisoned to drink anti-poison. But the solution's actually much simpler. You can get a good 8 to 10 hits in on these bots if you start attacking them before they're actually at the Earth Obelisk. They're not fast to use the obelisk, they pause for a few seconds when they get to it before they try to use it, so the function that makes them teleport out when they're being attacked isn't running until they're actually clicking on the Earth Obelisk. The bots drop like 14k each. It's not a great moneymaker, you could still make a few 100k per hour, but not really worth the time. In case you're wondering what I did with all the gold from the bots, I sold it all and bought dragon fire shields, 8 to be exact, and then I alked them all, realizing in the process you still actually get a lot of gold back from alking dragon fire shields. So I bought some gilded and a Robin Hood hat and alked that, only had 140k left and dropped that. It's safe to say the gold's out of the game. I know that you know that there are bots at Wyverns, but I could not help pointing out the absolute meathead of a bot farm I found. These guys' stats are insane. Coming in at under 700 total level, I found multiple with 35 million XP in attack, strength, and defense. And if those bots' longevity didn't impress you, I even found some with 85 million strength XP, 85 million defense XP, and 126 million attack XP. That's over 280 million combat experience. And that wasn't just a single occasion, I found other accounts with that much XP too. There are of course a lot more of these accounts with less than 99 attack strength and defense, which makes sense because Jagex says they do ban a lot of these accounts. So these are bots that have been started relatively more recently. After I reported a bunch of names to Jagex, they told me that they banned 72 accounts, and the total wealth across those accounts was 1.35 billion GP. The two mules the anti-cheating team linked to this bot farm were receiving between 70 to 100 million GP from each bot each time they were traded. They weren't muling that often though. Look at all of these accounts in the tunnelways of the Forthos dungeon. And they're in the tunnelway because when they're killing undead druids, if they see a player, they run southeast into that tunnel and hop worlds. There are 1 to 2 bots in every single world at the undead druids. There are just so many of them. Multiple different bot farms here. Some in Granite, a lot of these range bots, but then also this really high level bot farm with Helms of Natiznod. After I reported them to Jagex, Jagex banned about 50 of them and removed about 125 mil from the game. Now this seems really abnormal. I haven't seen this before. I got a tip that there were a few bots loitering over on the east side of the duel arena, a really low population area these days. I checked it out, and after hopping through a few worlds, I found a couple low levels with no stats. Not usually wearing that much, but sometimes full iron, sometimes starter gear, all low level with no stats on the highest scores. These accounts are on members worlds, so it's not even like this is free to play. I found a bunch of them in different worlds, and if you stuck around long enough, you'll notice that they hop in and out of the same world. And I got more and more tips about these accounts, sometimes people telling me they were all over the duel arena. Here you can see a couple accounts by the entrance, one with 30 attack and strength, and more along the northern side of the arena, again with kind of random gear equipped. One had 60 mining, another just had 65 smithing. It seems super random. And in the area on the east side I originally saw them, they seem to be multiplying over time. This is a couple days after I saw the first grouping of accounts. There are over 20 accounts in one single world hopping in and out. I was so curious about what these bots were up to that I sent a long list of names over to Jagex, and the anti-cheating team told me it's a combination of different bots. Just like I observed, they have a lot of random stats, but they're all being transitioned into LMS bots. Now for context, the anti-cheating team bans literally hundreds of these bots a day, but they keep getting replaced somehow. And if you didn't know, they're loitering here to get playtime because you need 48 hours of playtime to purchase any rewards from Last Man Standing. The highest population density of them here is also the members competitive LMS world. Jagex told me that these accounts literally wait here, and when the LMS script detects that some of its accounts aren't logged in at LMS, the accounts here with enough playtime move to LMS and start botting. Fast forward a few days after that, Leagues 3 is announced, but along with Leagues 3 at the bottom of that news post, Jagex made a huge update to LMS. Now you need a skill level of 750 and at least 30 quest points to even participate in the competitive LMS game modes, aka the modes where you can profit. They're doing this specifically to tackle bots. Pretty great that they're aware of the problem, they've been actively fighting it, but that same day I also got a tip about more bots at the duel arena. Once again, I did find a bunch of them, but this time their stats had a pretty similar pattern. Between 20 and 40 attack strength and defense, and at least 65 thieving. I'll be curious to know what this bot farm's for. Let me know in the comments if you have any ideas.